Hey guys, my name is Mason Mosley, and today I'm going to talk to you about why hunting is an acceptable pastime, in my opinion. Hopefully, by the end of this, you're going to be able to understand why I ask you to respect hunting as a pastime. Now, I'm not going to ask you to go out, spend all the money, and become a hunter, but I am going to ask that you respect hunting as a pastime. So, I'm going to throw out some numbers for you first off. 500,000, 100,000. 100,000 turkeys were left in the United States of America in the year 1900. Now, in 100 years, that number grew all the way up to 5 million. Now, the more astonishing number to me would be 1900 for the deer population. In 1900, there were 500,000 deer. In the year 2012, there was an estimated 27 million. Now, in 2016, they've said that number has come all the way up to 30 million. Okay? And I just want you to think about the fact that in 100 years, we grew that population to 30 million. That's astonishing, because if you look at this chart here, this is what I want you to pay attention to mainly. 30 million, 1450 is the year on that one. 1900, 500,000. 450 years it took us to make that population go down. Now, the number didn't start going down drastically till 1700. So if you call it 200 years to get that population all the way down there, it's easy to tear something down. It's not easy to build it back up. Yet we have done it. We have come all the way up to 30 million. And there's studies showing that in the next couple of years, that number is going to be past what it used to be. And that's amazing to me to think about that the more we hunt for sport, the more it's regulated. And that's what people don't get. Sport hunters aren't people who go out and kill lions and tigers and giraffes and elephants and all that. Sport hunters are anybody who pays for a hunting license and goes out and hunts. Hunting is a sport. It's a recreational activity that they enjoy. There is a need for hunting in the United States of America. Last year alone, there were 866,000 jobs in the industry of hunting. Now, $3 billion in 2011 went towards conservation. Now, most of that money came from hunters who bought hunting license, who bought permits, who bought tags, whatever they may have needed. Now, $40 billion is the annual estimate of what's paid for by hunters over the whole year. Now, that includes gas for hunting trips, the actual trip, the food on the trip, the money spent here, there, everywhere else, whatever they may need to go on that trip, or to do it in their backyard. Whatever they spend is in that $40 billion. Now, that 866,000 jobs last year, that puts hunting as the 7th largest employer in the United States. That puts them above McDonald's. That puts them above IBM. That puts them above Target. Now, a lot of people can say, hey, I enjoy hunting, or hey, I want to go hunting, but they don't know how to. And so what I want to explain to you on these next 2 slides is going to be how to get started hunting. Now, you got to figure out what you're going to hunt. Now, you can go, if you want to go up north and hunt elk or moose or whatever you want to do, you can. But here in Florida, it's not feasible for me to go hunt a moose. That's not possible. It doesn't happen. So right here is going to be the animals we have in Florida that are animals you're legally allowed to hunt. And that's anywhere from different types of waterfowl, upland game, which is typically going to be your birds that spend their time on the ground, not in the air. Then you're going to have small game, and then big game. Now, big game is going to consist of deer, bear, hogs, that kind of thing. And the next thing you want to do is pick how you're going to do it. What kind of weapon are you going to use? Are you going to use a rifle? Are you going to use a crossbow, a bow and arrow, a shotgun? You don't want to shoot a deer with the same gun, or you don't want to shoot a deer with the same gun you shoot a squirrel with. It's not going to work. But in the same sense, you don't want to shoot a squirrel with the gun you shoot a deer with, because you ain't going to have no squirrel left. Now, next I want to ask you is, where are you going to hunt? Well, right here, these are all different WMAs, wildlife management areas. That's areas that are preserved, managed, maintained. These are all maintained by the Forest Service, and this is going to be for hunting. I mean, they're specifically for that, and to help manage the populations of deer in there. Now, this is going to be your hunter safety course card that you have to receive before you can ever even purchase a license. And this is basically just safe and effective methods of hunting. That goes, how to handle the gun, how to handle the animal, and how to properly dispose of the animal after you've taken care of the situation. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be getting started, and it's a continuation. How are you going to hunt? Now, like I said before, are you going to use a shotgun? Are you going to use a rifle? Are you going to use a bow, an arrow? Or are you going to use a crossbow? Are you going to sit in a climber? Are you going to sit in a hang-on stand? Are you going to sit on a ladder stand? Are you going to get in a blind? Is the blind going to be on the ground? Is the blind going to be 15 feet in there? Are you going to use dogs, or are you going to still hunt and hunt over a food plot or a pile of corn? That's all your choice. Do it how you please. You just have to do it correctly and responsibly, and that's the most important part, I think. Now, the next step is to take action. You can do all that stuff I just talked about. If you don't go sit and stand, what'd you do it for? You're not hunting. That is the most enjoyable part for me, is to take an action step. I love going out there and sitting. Whether I see anything or not, it's peaceful. It's time by yourself, and it's fun. Now, we're going to go to the next slide, which is going to be personal benefits, which is kind of what I've already talked about just a second ago. We're going to talk about family, friends, and the heritage behind hunting. You can see on that graph, hunting was something that's been done. Started in the 1770s when we colonized the U.S. and everything went down. Those numbers started going down, and that's because people were hunting. Well, those numbers came back up because we regulated hunting, because we realized there were going to be no deer out there, no turkeys out there for me to teach my kids how to hunt, And I would have never been able to go hunting had they not done something back in 1900. Now, friends and family is an important part to me. You get to spend a lot of time with people that you wouldn't otherwise spend as much time with, probably. You'd be hanging out with friends doing whatever. Different friends that don't hunt. You're getting to meet new people. You're getting to go hang out with new people. You're getting to hang out with family that you may not see often, but you do because you hunt together. My next slide is just going to be my references. And I want to take a second and ask you, like I talked about in the beginning, I'm not asking you to go out and spend $2,000, which is how much on average a hunter spends every year. I'm not going to ask you to spend $2,000 hunting. I'm not going to ask you to spend $2,000 on a trip to go hunting. That's not my goal here. My goal here is for you to accept hunting as a pastime. And it is a pastime. I mean, everything I've shown you here is evidence that it is, but also evidence as to why it is. And so I just want to thank you for your time, and have a good one.